Good morning and welcome to Estoril, day 2 of the weekend, day 2 of the season for the International GTOpen Championship. You see the cars filtering out onto the circuit from pit lane at the moment for this qualifying session. Half an hour for the drivers to try and set an ultimate pace in this one, and the first driver out there that we just saw go through shot was also the driver with the fastest lap in the race yesterday. That's Axel Jeffries, who really put in a commanding second stint of his race. And you see some of the other cars looking a little bit different than they were yesterday. There's the Olymp Racing number 5 car, the Ferrari that will be qualified by Christian Korzanowski today. You'll notice that it's sporting a nice combination of dark purple and red. That's because that car has been rebuilt from spares following a big crash yesterday that unfortunately claimed 2 cars from us today. We won't be seeing the Giuseppe Cipriani number 8 Lamborghini out on circuit. We also won't see Erwin Zanotti in the Kessel Racing Ferrari that we saw yesterday, that Stephen Earle unfortunately had quite a big shunt in. There was a big incident at turn 4 yesterday on the first lap of the race, and that has unfortunately slightly cannibalized the grid. A couple of drivers with chassis that are not really fit to go racing today, but hopefully they'll be back as the season goes on. It's still a strong looking entry list though coming into today's race, and here's Sebastian Bopp in the 911 car, the Get Speed Mercedes. It was here at turn 4 and 5, as we go through there, that this car got sideways and caused the kind of bowling effect that happened from there, the concertina that happened from there. We'll hope that everything is a bit cleaner come race time tomorrow, later today, I should say, at about 1:30. But for now, you see the Oregon team Lamborghini heading down the main straight, and it was Oregon team with this car in 3rd, and the 63 taking the win, who had the best, almost the best possible start to the International GTOpen season in 2022. A team new to GT3 racing, a team with so much history in various different categories, and it's always been a very successful team. Great to see that they are right up there towards the top, and I am joined here in the commentary box by George Morgan, and George, talking about Oregon team, I don't think they could have had it any better yesterday.
Oh, superb. Overall, P1 and P3 for both cars. Sensational result, really. You've got to give them credit. Benji Hites pulling off a mammoth of a stint towards the end, trying to bring his car to the front end. It was a very, very hard battle between him and Nick Moss of the Optimum Motorsport car, and it was wonderful to watch, but I couldn't help but feel sorry for Nick Moss. He got caught up in a little bit of traffic towards the end of the race, which sort of left him on a plate, really, for then Benjamin Hites to take him heading into the final echelons of that race. But it was a sensation. Unfortunate to see the incident. Of course, great to see that the Get Speed pink car is back on track. We did take a walk yesterday on the track, and we did see a little bit of pink paint on the steel barriers, so but good to see that they're up and running here today, Adam.
Yes, I think there's about half of the livery actually on the Armco, unfortunately, and they actually managed to drive away from the scene of the incident, unlike quite a few of the other cars involved. You see there that Chadaroglu driven 133 Kessel Racing Ferrari. That was at the very sharp end of the race in the early stages yesterday, with David Fuminelli putting in a great stint in the Pro-Am class car. And we'll see how Chadaroglu can qualify the car. He'll be keen to have as good of a first stint later on as possible to hand over to Fuminelli in a good position. We ride on board with Janine Schaffner. Janine running down to turn 1 now. Moritz Kranz said that she had a lot of fun battling in Pro-Am yesterday. Janine herself was kind of like, I guess it was okay. I think she would rather have been a bit further up the order come the end than she was, but certainly she had a busy race yesterday, and Pro-Am in general yesterday was quite the thriller.
It certainly was. Very much was a thriller. Extraordinary, really. The midfield fight was unbelievable, and unfortunately Janine Schaffner was very much at the sharp end of it, really. I mean, she had a lot of cars to try and battle against. We spoke to her this morning. She's still confident. feels good in the car, and we'll look forward to seeing how she performs today. Of course, Moritz Krantz had a wonderful start, really. He was right at the top end, squabbling it out with the Kessel Racing Ferrari, and of course Joe Osborne as well at the front, who had a mammoth start at the beginning of the race. It was absolutely sensational, but obviously they'll be looking for a little bit of an upturn in their fortunes. Of course, Janine will be starting the race here today, with Moritz Krantz then taking the seat later on when the driver swaps are brought out again, and we'll look forward to seeing how they fare in today's race. Great to see Adam Aseka as well out on track, because we didn't get to see him yesterday. Kiki Sagnana unfortunately involved in the incident, and they couldn't get back underway. It was an awful shunt that we witnessed around turn 4 leading in towards turn 5, but great to see the luminous yellow car out on circuit. Very colourful, these Get Speed cars.
Very colourful indeed. They've got an advanced colour palette at Get Speed. Let's run you through the times at the moment, or at least acknowledge that we are getting some fast laps in. A 1:36.047 from Alain Vellante in the 33 Team GT Mercedes. Axel Jeffries with a 1:36.169. I believe both of those drivers will soon lower the bar further. Vallente's just gone to a 36.047. Well, he's just coming across the line now. Or yes, 1:35.947. For the 777 of Carol Bash, actually. So Carol Bash in the 777 Olymp Audi has just gone faster. Here is Vellante. Let's see if his time lowers. Certainly those splits are looking positive and purple. He comes out of the final turn, turn 13, runs it right to the edge of the circuit. Let's see whether this is going to be a competitive time well into the 1:35s. Yes, a 1:35.362 for Alain Vellante. That's good going. Our pole yesterday was a 1:34.393, so you could reasonably expect a little bit more out of a few of these drivers. Of course, we don't have David Fumanelli in the car who set the pace yesterday. However, we do have the likes of Adam Christodoulou, Axel Jeffries qualifying today, where they did not yesterday. Carol Bash, another one of those drivers who we have to include as favourites for the first few rows of the grid in this Olymp Racing Audi, was on the entry list as a Ferrari, but unfortunately the 488 GT3 Evo that they were set to race didn't seem to be on song coming into this weekend, so they wheeled out the Audi. Not a bad luxury to have. That's a casual 2022 spec Audi GT3 car, lurking should they need it.
Well, I mean, how easy is that? Just swap the cars, why not? Yeah, the Audi now making its way around the next right, and as they do so, very soon to be taking it down the long straight here in that luminous yellow and purple as well, as the Olymp car now dashes in towards the pit lane. Still the top time, Carol Bash holding it right now, 1:35.947, with Alain Vellante in second place, also donning a 1:35.2, but he goes purple in sector 2 right now. So Alain Vellante looking to go a little bit quicker. There he is on your screens, folks, as he rounds the Parabolica Ayrton Senna, and down the stretch, will this be a further improvement for Vellante? Glenn Van Berlo goes top. Can Vellante go even higher? Vellante goes top here with just over 21 minutes remaining. So a good time being shown, but based on what we saw yesterday in qualifying, the top rated times, the likes of David Fumanelli, Joe Osborne as well, it all happened towards the end. It was a ping-pong affair. As the track warms up, the times will get quicker.
I believe he had a 35.3 before. I think that means the lap time may have got deleted for Alain Vellante, because he definitely got into the low 35s prior to that lap, didn't he? We saw that on screen. So I think lap time's getting deleted, track limits being vigilantly observed. We mentioned there, turn 13, the final corner of the lap, is of course the Parabolica Ayrton Senna. 28 years today since we lost arguably one of the greatest racing drivers of all time. Who had one of his greatest moments. The first ever Formula One victory for Ayrton Senna came here in 1985 in the Lotus, and certainly we remember him. We remember Roland Ratzenberger as well on this particular weekend. Benji Heats would be watching along with us at the moment as he rides on. Well, actually, no, sorry, he's driving the car, I should say. Watching along with us is an understatement, to put it lightly. He crosses the line in 6th place. He's just improved to a 36.367. Not great on the brakes there. I think maybe could have gone 5 meters or so earlier, but it takes time to really build confidence as you run around early in the morning. And we're not yet seeing the best out of Adam Christodoulou either. I kind of said, well, might be my pole sitter coming into this one. I think he might be the favourite, but 8th place at the moment. Let's see what Christo can do in the remaining 19 minutes of this session. I'd expect that he's on an in-lap at the moment, looking at the pace. Either that or he's just building up pace now to start a flying lap, but I think more likely an in-lap. About midway through the session, George, as a rule, it seems like everyone takes a kind of voluntary pause between Q1 and Q2. We see that more often than not in GTOpen. Let's see if he peels in. No, so he was just getting himself set up for a flying lap, and we'll keep an eye on the screens to see what Christo can do. Here's Janine Schaffner, just ahead of her is the 54 car, the SPS Mercedes, which is another Pro-Am runner. Dexter Muller taking the qualifying here today in that 54 machine. Schaffner about to cross the line. Let's see what her time looks like on this occasion. She's improving. A 1:37.976, remains in 11th place, but is still yet to move up into the top 10.
Yeah, Axel Jeffries going quicker in Sector 1 as well. Alan Valente coming back out of the pit box, so he's looking to go again. Didn't stay long in the pit lane, so obviously keen just to get back out there and nestle in some further laps. Adam Christodoulou, as you so rightly said, staying out. I did see him aggressively warming up the tyres. Maybe he's not happy with the temperatures at this point, and therefore maybe needs it for the grip, and that could be the reasoning as to why he can't yet sort of, a faster lap. But Axel Jeffries now goes purple in Sector 2, so this is quick here from Axel Jeffries, currently sitting in 7th place and 3rd in the Pro-Am category in this current lineup so far. There we can see the man himself now making his way around the parabolica. Ayrton Senna just goes, takes a lot of the curb, in fact, down through towards the start-finish line. Axel Jeffries, is this going to go top? I'd imagine so. It certainly is. Purple across all 3 laps at 34.376, Adam.
The fastest time we've seen this weekend, just a few hundredths quicker than David Fumanelli went yesterday in qualifying. He has lowered the bar significantly there. The Zimbabwean driver really putting on a stellar lap there. He's over a second quicker than everyone else out there for now, but let's see if anyone can match him. In fact, we've already had someone go quicker than in the rest of the pack. Adam Christodoulou has moved himself up to 2nd place with a 1:34.879. So we saw Christo getting himself ready for a flyer. We thought he was a little way down the order, and there you go, he's answered us in short order. Axel Jeffries, though, on top by half a second, even with that time from Christodoulou, and I think it's going to take a mammoth lap from somebody to go faster than Jeffries in the remainder of this session.
Yeah, Kessel Racing at the top. Again, in a qualifying. Special job certainly from him. And there's Adam Christodoulou now making his way down through towards the next left-hander, leading in towards turn 6. And this one being the Parabolica interior. As we watch him head around the next left.
Sorry about that. Jeffries, I was more surprised than anything. I thought that lap looked cool, calm and collected from Axel. He was going around the circuit. I thought he looked smooth as peanut butter. He'll be coming into the pits. No, purple in Sector 2.
He just likes the colour purple, I swear. He just loves it. Purple there for Carol Bash in Sector 3 as well. Goes up 2nd fastest, with now Adam Christodoulou making his way out of the chicane. Now through towards turn 11, rounding turn 13 very shortly after this one, and looking strong. And Axel Jeffries, a 34.218. Unbelievable. Purple in Sector 2, snatches the purple in Sector 3 off Carol Bash. Here comes Adam Christodoulou as well, heading past the pit lane. Can he improve and go faster than Carol Bash? Let's see now as he crosses the line. Is it going to be 2nd place? No. I get the feeling just he's going to want to go again. He's not far away, just under 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, Christodoulou's chipping away, isn't he? As we get a look at Axel Jeffries here, bouncing over the S's and onto the Parabolica. Ayrton Senna taking... Oh, he's gone purple again, unsurprisingly, on the lap that he's currently doing. So Axel Jeffries is in full attack mode at the moment. Could he be the first to get into the 133s? At the moment, looking at his form, you wouldn't rule it out in the slightest. In comes Janine Schaffner after her first stint, as it were. You see the Pro Class Get Speed entry being worked on there as well. But here comes Jeffries, he's purple in split 2 as well. Through the Gancho chicane goes the Kessel Racing Ferrari, but he's backed out of it. Very interesting. Now, has he backed out of it, or does the car have a problem? Because he's creeping. Yeah, something's a miss here. Jeffries has just lost all power at once there. maybe clattering over the curbs and getting an electrical issue. He's going to be doing a full-on reset here, but it's going to be tense times for Roman Zemian, his co-driver, and the rest of the Kessel crew, because the car that looks so promising has pulled up to a halt here at the S's.
Yeah, indeed, and this could cause a yellow flag, maybe even a red. They've got to obviously move the car, so what's going to happen here, because it's right on the circuit. There we can see him trying to flick it, trying to turn it on. No response from the car, the Kessel Racing car that has looked so good. He's been a lumberjack of lap times all session long, but now we're seeing him stranded on the circuit. Never a good sight, and certainly, yes, a red flag unfurled here at Estoril, so a stoppage here in qualifying.
Well, oh, and we're just hearing, because we still have the onboard audio in our ears there, we just heard the 488 fire up, and now we see it running again. So unfortunately, we've thrown the red flag, and now the obstruction has left the premises. However, the red flag was definitely justified, because we had no idea whether or not that car was going to get back underway. Heart in the mouth moment for Axel Jeffries, but it is something that we see not frequently in GT racing, but sometimes when you clatter the curbs corner on corner on corner, sometimes the electrics cry enough and you have to do a full Control-Alt-Delete to get back onto the, or get the engine back under fire.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing how the technology has advanced. These cars are almost like computers these days. Incredible. You just look at them. There's Benji Hitez's Oregon car making its way into the pit lane. But absolutely magnificent to say the least. He's obviously reeling after a great performance yesterday. Currently in 6th overall, and is now parking up. There you can see the Optimum Motorsport car, this time driven by Nick Moss, currently sitting. We got Restart coming very soon, folks. They're just waiting in the fast lane. Obviously, because Axel Jeffries was able to get the car underway, the marshals don't have anything to clear up, just to change the tyres, just check everything's okay, and they'll be able to go out for the next half of qualifying.
It's not really going to cause any particular unrest or really any difference to the standard standard qualifying strategy here in GTOpen. As I've said a little earlier on in the broadcast, there does tend to be this kind of informal break between two runs from everybody halfway through the session, and we're about halfway through the session and we've now got that exact scenario playing out. The tyre change is still ongoing though, so even though the session is back to green flag conditions, we are yet to see anyone go out on circuit. Obviously, we're not in a racing situation, so they'll take their time, make triply sure that the nuts are tight on the wheel arches. Incidentally, we did see that Ferrari get the full reset. You said it's like a computer. Axel Jeffries tried turning it off and on again, and it worked. He's now coming back out onto the circuit in the number 73 Kessel Racing car. Let's see if he can continue to go purple sector hunting.
Yeah, no blue screen of death on this occasion, Adam. It has to be said. It looks okay. He's leaving the pit lane, and Alan Valente will be doing the same. And there is our slow-mo picturesque images of Axel Jeffries hurtling up the chicane. Hopefully this wasn't just before the incident involving his slowdown. I get the feeling it is, just creeping around the bend. There is the Olymp Audi as well, and looking in rude health, it has to be said. Carol Bash currently in 2nd place, and also 2nd in the Pro-Am category as well. None of the pros yet quite top in the billing, but obviously different drivers in the car. There's Adam Christodoulou having a lovely start to Qualy, 3rd place. A 134.598 for the Thiva Motorsport driver. And I'm sure Rima is looking on and delighted with how her teammate is getting on. As we now see Janine Schaffner leaving the pit lane as well. A lot of activity in the pit lane. Tyres being changed, cars up on the jacks, getting ready for the second half of qualifying. Squeaky bum time now, Adam.
Very much so. There's the 133 car, the car that was on pole yesterday, courtesy of David Fulminelli. Muach Hadaroglu, currently 15th fastest of the 16 cars we have out there. And certainly he had a fun race yesterday. He actually talked us through it a bit. And I think he basically described it as a race of mixed fortunes. He had some very fun moments. He also had a couple of little errors, and it ultimately led to them falling down the Pro-Am order a bit, but they'll be looking to do great things here today. Incidentally, the top 4 cars in this qualifying session, as we kind of resume proceedings here, are all Pro-Am cars, inevitably with the pro element of the Pro-Am at the wheel. Axel Jeffries, of course, in the 73 Kessel Racing Ferrari. Carol Bath in the Olymp Racing Audi. There in second place, Adam Christodoulou in the FIBA Motorsport Mercedes and Alan Valente in the 33 Team GT Mercedes. So the pro drivers running rampant at the moment. Here's Benjamin Hites. I'll remember you eventually, Benji. I'm very, very sorry indeed. Benji up through Gancho. Of course, probably not going at full chat at the moment. No, those sector times not suggesting that this is a flying lap. He's still on an out lap, I believe. Let's see if Axel Jeffries is on a quick one. Certainly not a bad first sector, but also not one that sets the world alight. So I don't think this is going to be another one of his signature flat-out qualifying laps. However, I was thinking that last time we saw him go purple in Sector 2, so let's wait and see. Certainly he's actually looking pretty feisty on the brakes into Turn 6 as the Kessel Racing Ferrari on the power. Nice over the curbs there, not taking too much curb. You have to be so careful not to exceed the track limits at those corners. The curbs, they invite you, don't they, George? But they will often then invite you to the stewards in turn.
They do indeed, and they're watching him like a hawk right now. We did walk up by Gancho corner as well, and I couldn't believe the elevation these guys actually have to take. The cameras, unfortunately, you can't properly see it, but if you get the opportunity to walk on the track and have a look at it, it is so high, and it's so testing as well. If you do ride onto those curbs, it can unsettle the car, which is probably what led to Axel Jeffries' problems just before the red flag. As we now watch Axel Jeffries head down towards the line, this will not be an improvement on his previous lap, but no doubt he's going to go, as I say that, last lap 34.184. I'll eat my
So that's
incredible. Eat my words.
That's a rare phenomenon. He got purple in none of the sectors, but the average time across the 3 sectors was good enough that he's managed to increase his pole position advantage even further. And he's already a quarter of a second up in split 1. Strap in, guys. I think this is going to be a quick lap. Kerber VIP is next. Turn 4. Gets the power on. Takes a nice wide berth in the mid-corner to get a great run out of the corner through the kink at Turn 5. Turn 6 follows. It's the Parabolica interior. You saw that he was brave on the brakes last time through. Let's see what it's like this time. Very good indeed. You just see there, he perfectly threw the car in. The tyres saying, oh, I want to slip, but he kept it under control. Turn 7, Orella is next. This right-hand bend, one of the ones that drops away a lot more than you see on the television. There really is quite a steep decline midway through that corner. Jeffries all over the shop, but he's still purple. He's purple by 3.5 tenths, but again the car is slowing. Again, he seems to have brought the electrics into jeopardy. We saw there that hefty hit on the underside of the car. He's got it going again. Oh, Axel Jeffries, he's operating at the finest of margins in this qualifying session. He was almost a quarter. When he was over a quarter, he was over a third of a second up at split 2. Then he hits the underside of the car here, and seemingly the electrics said no. Thankfully, on this occasion, he got it underway again in short order, but I think Axel is maybe going to have to calm down on some of these curves, but he desperately wants to secure this pole position. It's such a difficult balance for the young man. I mean, he knows he's got the pace. He knows he could get a sub 134, but the electrics are seemingly not agreeing with his methodology today.
Yeah, our lap time lumberjack Axel Jeffries really working hard to try and unleash the best that he can, but obviously, given the fact that there must be an issue heading out of Gancho, just again, a little bit rough, maybe he took it a little bit too hard, but I suppose not. I mean, he had every chance of setting another gargantuan purple lap time. It was extraordinary. Here we have again now the number 63 car, that being donned by that of Benji Hites, who's coming through this next straight as well. Currently sat in 6th place. Now making his way down through towards Turn 6 at the Parabolica interior, and takes it nice and wide, nice and steady, just eases the car around this next left. And as I said earlier on, winner of yesterday's race overall, catching Nick Moss's Optimum Motorsport McLaren, as now they rise up through Turn 7, Turn 8, and then leading up through towards Gancho corner, where we saw Axel Jeffries unfortunately lose the car. The power shut down on that Kessel Racing Ferrari. In comes the Lambo up through the next... Oh, we got a yellow flag at Turn 12.
So that's the S's. We're about to come up on Turn 12, and we're going to have to see what that is. Here's Alexander Krakowina in the number 25 Landgraf Mercedes, and that was a step too much curb. and pushing a little bit too hard there in the man-filter Team Landgraf machine. The Mamba, great to have it with us in GTOpen. The driver who currently sits 14th on our timing sheets, unfortunately trying to reach the limit of adhesion and getting a spin for his troubles.
Yeah, Dexter Muller, who we can currently see on our screens, 12th place, and now rising up through towards turn 5. As he now makes his way up towards turn 6 now. And there you can see Axel Jeffries out of the car, obviously having a little word there with his garage team. I'm guessing they'll have to have a look in an investigation. There's the man-filter car, the man-filter Team Landgraf car. Mercedes back underway after the spin, so that should negate the yellow flags. Green flag now at turn 12, so we are back underway as normal. And the Mercedes will commence another flying lap, not being deterred, not coming in the pit lane. He's going to commence again and carry out another lap.
Looked like a very subdued debrief there for Axel Jeffries. You may be wondering, well, why is that? A 1:34.184. He's still got a great chance of starting the car from pole position later on. The fact is, when a car starts to develop electrical gremlins, they can be incredibly hard to diagnose and nigh on impossible to fix at the circuit. It's going to be quite the fraught morning into the afternoon for the Kessel Racing crew. They're going to have to get the diagnostic software out and hope that they can get the car back on song. Good to see that Rakowina has got the car back running again. He was stopped at T12 for a little while. The man-filter Mamba, the Team Landgraf machine, back out there on circuit. We haven't seen this car much so far in this session. This is Nick Moss in the 72 McLaren. He's just improved to 7th place on a 1:35.248. So 7th and 3rd among the pros. Meanwhile, we are seeing sectors light up around the lap. Carol Bash has actually just gone purple in sector 2, so we might be able to pick up on him around the final corner in the Audi. Let's wait and see if we take sight of that as Nick Moss continues to push on. Moss in that 72 McLaren. And Bash has gone fastest. While we're looking at Nick Moss, this car, the 777 of Carol Bash, has taken pole position away from Axel Jeffries, and if it was a subdued debrief before, it's going to be an infuriated one now. Axel Jeffries was looking well set for a 1:33 on that final attempt at flying lap. The car disagreed, didn't want to keep going, and now Carol Bash is taking advantage. You see there the makeshift repairs on the Audi. It was caught up in yesterday's first lap shenanigans too, and well, the repair's clearly been done to a high level. Carol Bash is getting the very best out of the R8, and they'll be pretty happy that they had to fall upon the reserve car.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not going to be too disappointed now, and Axel Jeffries himself will be absolutely seething because he was rapid on that previous lap up until the issues that he sustained coming out of Gancho corner, and now Carol Bash owning that spot on top. Axel Jeffries will be wondering what could have been, as Adam Christodoulou sets a 19.305 in the first sector, not too bad at all. Goes quicker than Carol Bash in sector 1, in fact, so could yet be a great lap here from Adam Christodoulou, should he be able to hook up sector 2 and sector 3, but a 34.083 is the time to beat. Not bad at all. Jeffries, the only one, well, the only one within half a second at the moment, just over a tenth. Christodoulou over half a second in behind. Carol Bash now comes up across the line to commence another lap. Here comes Adam Christodoulou as well, round this next right now. Car number 18, of course, leading up now towards turn 8. And very shortly up through the Gancho corner, there you can see a little bit of traffic with the Oregon car that's dead ahead there. I think that might have been, was that Glenn Van Berlo further up there, as we now see Adam Christodoulou round the next right as he now sends it through turn 13 out of turn 12. And as he does so, there you can see him trying to light up the timing screens. Can he improve? He needs a good lap here, wants to try and get on the front row. We know Adam's a tenacious character, a huge charismatic character, and the nicest guy you'd ever meet as he comes up towards the line. And the Thieber Motorsport car, does he look to improve at this stage as he crosses the line? No signs of it, but he's getting closer. Here comes now the Team Oregon car of Glenn Van Berlo, a 35.2 at this stage, and that stays in 5th place.
Yes, so Christodoulou with the personal best lap of the session, but not able to advance beyond 3rd place, the position he had already, a 1:34.357 for Christodoulou. He's got another 2 3/4 tenths to make up if he wants to challenge Carol Bash for pole position. He's got another 1 3/4 tenths if he wants to get on the front row at the expense of Axel Jeffries. Laps improved under yellow flag, under investigation. I don't think that will be any of the laps we've seen so recently, but of course we did see the Landgraf Mercedes looped at turn 12 for quite a while. The yellow flags were there for quite a while, and I think that is why we're seeing that on the screen. Christodoulou is again on a flying lap. He's going to be around turn 8, 9, 10 at the moment, so he'll be coming up to the second sector. You see the first sector on your screen at the moment, at the bottom of screen on the graphic, and it's purple again. He'll be going through Gancho at the moment. Here he is, Christodoulou, running through 9 and 10. He looked like he was going quickly. Let's see how he looks at the S's. Bounces across the curbs, quite subdued compared to some, but maybe smoothness is the way forward. Adam Christodoulou around the final corner, the Parabolica, Ayrton Senna. He launches the AMG GT3. He'll be willing the 6.2 litre V8 to pull him to pole position. Does it happen? It's a 1:34.089, 6 thousandths of a second away from Karel Bash. Christodoulou up onto the front row of the grid. Finest of margins, and let's see if he goes on another flyer.
That was absolutely incredible. Christodoulou doing everything he can. 30 seconds left. Oh, running wide. Got so close to the gravel there, Adam Christodoulou. He was sending it here. He knew the timer was ticking. An opportunity to go pole. Why not take a chance? 6 thousandths of a second is all that separates him and Karel Bash. I have to say, he'll be looking for more. That might have scuppered his chances, though, and that will mean that he will not be able to set another one, because we've only got 10 seconds left now, folks. Karel Bash still out on track, but he's gone slower in Sector 1. Further down, you can see Axel Jeffries obviously in the pits. Glenn Van Berlo is out on another lap. He's not doing too badly, and that is it. The qualifying is officially, the checkered flag has been raised. The timer has ticked down to 0, and that means, should nothing change, Karel Bash will be on pole.
Well, let's wait and see if anything comes from the lap from Glenn Van Berlo. But yes, all signs point to pole position for Olymp Racing, the Audi and Karel Bash. The Pro-Am entries. Always so interesting to see how far up the Pro-Am cars go when they throw the Pro into the fray in qualifying. And the top 4 all Pro-Am cars in this qualifying session. As it stands, Van Berlo's second sector not looking that strong, so I'm not sure we'll see an improvement out of him. A few drivers have already taken the checkered flag. A majority of the drivers are already in the pit lane, so we will just stall and wait and see whether we do see any improvements out of anybody before the session is conclusively completed. Van Berlo into the pit lane, and that really does cement it for Karel Bash and Marcin Jedlinski. Their car will be on pole position when we go racing later on this afternoon. The 777 car, Karel Bash, he'll be delighted with that one. Bash and Christodoulou and Jeffries treating us to a fabulous qualifying session. Hair-raising stuff, purple sectors galore. That was very entertaining.
It was very entertaining indeed, and once again, we hark back to Axel Jeffries, who had every chance, but let's have a look at the results. Karel Bash on pole position for the start of the race, race 2. Adam Christodoulou, yet so near, yet so far in second place. Axel Jeffries, after the array of problems with the electrical failures, third place is all he could muster at the time. Alan Valente in fourth, with Glenn Van Berlo in fifth. Benji Hites from Oregon Team in 6th. Nick Moss lines up in 7th for Optimum Motorsport. Sebastian Boud in 8th place for Get Speed Performance. Adam Osaka in 9th, with Christian Kortanowski in 10th place for Olymp Racing. Further down, Alexander Hurakowina in 11th place for Manfilter Team Landgraf. Janine Schaffner in 12th, with Dexter Muller in 13th. Murat Chiradaroglu in 14th. Lauren DeMeus in 15th. Omar Jackson lining up in 16th. And obviously no time set for Giuseppe Cipriani and Erwin Zanotti.
We won't see those two cars out again today, but what a session that was, especially for Olymp Racing. They've had a bit of a mixed bag of a weekend so far, but unfortunately I think more bad than good, at least as of Saturday evening, and they acknowledge that themselves. But now they're looking in the pound seat. Axel Jeffries looked for a while like he'd be in the 133s in this session, but seemingly electrical gremlins causing problems for Kessel Racing. Adam Christodoulou 2, second fastest for Thiba Motorsport. He and Rima Jafali will be right up in contention when we go racing at 1:30 later on this afternoon. But it's this man, Carol Bash, who's on pole position, utilising the lastminute.com Audi to the very best of its abilities. Let's hear from the young man now. I'm sure he'll be delighted.
Carol Bash, pole position for race 2 here at Estoril after a very interesting and competitive session.
Yeah, it was really close. I think we make a maximum that we can, and we prepared very well the car after yesterday damage in the race 1. So thank you for the team that they work in the night to prepare the car, and it's very good. So let's push like this.
It was a long night for the team because both cars had needed repairs.
We have not so good day yesterday, but at least we did podium with Martin. So I hope today will be much better and more luck for us.
Well done for now.
Thank you.
Carol Bash will be surely in the pound seat to succeed today from pole position. We'll find out at 1:30 when we go racing. But from Estoril, it's goodbye for now. Join us this afternoon for race 2.